Thank you guys for joining us today. I noticed that we have people from all over the world. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Bobby Kemis. I'm the Senior Account Executive at Entryless. With me, I have the CEO and the founder of Entryless, Mike Galarza. We have a combination of current and potential clients. So before we dive into the platform, I want to talk a little bit about who we are, why we started Entryless, and how you can manage your workflow and basically have Mike showcase our platform. If you have any questions, please make sure you type them under the question box, and we'll make sure to answer as much as we can. So who's Entryless? We were founded actually in September of 2013 and focus at the core value and what challenges we are trying to fix for accountants and SMBs. With that focus, we have been able to implement our platform to some of the biggest accounting firms in the world. We have basically won few awards, including the IBM Smart Camp, and featured in many magazines and online accounting and technology websites. We're backed by one of the top firms and connected our product to about all the accounting firms in the world. If there's any accounting firm that you're working with, we'll definitely, and we're not connected with, we'll definitely work with you as well. So why Entryless? Our founder realized that there is no good way to input your expenses into your accounting firm and felt the need to fix these challenges. By implementing Entryless, you will be able to free up your staff so they can focus at other projects and speeds up your accounting process and ensure to pay your bills on time. There is many other reasons to why we really came to the market, but these are one of the most important things that we feel that accountants usually face on a daily basis. We'd like to work with other accountants that have other challenges, and we want to make sure that we're implementing every feature that is actually associated and correlated to your core business and what are you trying to accomplish. With that said, I wanted to pass the present to our founder, Mike Galarza. Mike?
Thank you, Bobby, and welcome everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here with you today and share more about how you can manage your cash flow and also get a better understanding of Entryless. It's very exciting that we have companies that are joining from all across the globe and that we get to share our learnings of some of our best customers and how they've succeeded with the platform Entryless. So thank you for joining us again. And one of the key items that we'll be reviewing is, of course, a live product demo, but also I'd like to share with you more about how you can grow your business, how you can, if you're an accountant and bookkeeper or CPA, how you can scale your practice. Entryless is all about enabling you to grow your business. And so we think that you being the best advisor to the small business owners, payables is one key component that most of the time is really either misunderstood or there's a huge oversight on it. Probably business owners are more on top of their accounts receivable versus how much they are paying or how they are managing those payables. Some of the common problems that are around the payables is not knowing really how much you owe, not knowing really how much you need to pay when, to who, and how critical that payment is to the supply chain of your business. And those are some of the key problems that we see often on businesses using Entryless, and that's why they come, because it's not only about getting the data in one system, which we will show you in just 1 second, but it's really more about what does that mean for your business. So in essence, we have here a couple items on the screen. For example, to get used to payables, you can implement electronic payments, right? You can do pay 2 times a month instead of paying whenever someone requests money from you. You can either pay on time or early. And there are many other action items you can implement. But I think that at the end of the day, one of the best advices are 3 of them. So the first one is how you manage growth, right? If you manage growth, you are having more expenses naturally. So how you manage those expenses versus how much you're growing, it's a huge component. And one of the biggest items on that end is inventory, is the goods that you need to provide your product, that you need to build your product. And those payments often, they can kill a company. There are companies that, for example, supermarkets, if they don't manage correctly their inventory, they can be out of cash flow and the business could be dead, and they can hamper supplier relationships. So that's very critical. And one of the other very key items is evaluating terms. And this really gets me because this is something that you really need to take a look. How many days on average are you paying your suppliers, right? Probably it's usually between 20 and 30 days. But really, how much time is taking you to bring the money in? How much time is the average that you're collecting your receivables, your AR? And then what's the difference between that AR and that AP? And most of the time, there's usually a difference between 15 to 20 days that you're first paying someone before you're receiving money from your customers. And I say that this really gets me because we've analyzed the problem, and the problem is not knowing this delta, right? Not knowing this difference. But the real problem is that you don't have the data and you don't have the information on time to make that decision. And that's why Entryless is all about, enabling you to take and make those decisions better with data. And that's what we're going to showcase today. And the last point is about the strategic suppliers and how you can negotiate better terms with them. Which discounts can you get? What's your average, disbursements every month that you know that you're gonna make? And maybe you offer them, to pay them up front or early and get a better discount. So analyze what's, the strategic suppliers that you have, which ones are just one-offs that you could probably hold. And also probably most of the time you can also hold supplier, purchases. So implement a PO process, implement a small process if you want, just have it on your schedule if you're, just a sole proprietorship. Really, it's about managing when you want to make that purchase, because ultimately, when you make that purchase is when you're going to get billed, and then the clock starts ticking. So really, get down that on your notebook, right? Really put that somewhere and manage that and implement a correct PO process, which most of the accounting systems that we connect with have those. Also, can you delay purchases? Do you really need to buy that, that new item? Do you really need to stock up that inventory that probably is gonna get sold till 2 months, later on? So really evaluate those, those purchases that can really throw your balance and your cash flow off. So without further ado, we'll jump right at the demo, and Bobby will help me here set up the screen, and we'll start in 1 second. In the meantime, please do write your questions over here on the chat. There's a section of questions, so feel free to have any, ask for any type of questions around cash flow. If you want to get our advice on what we see on the market, please do ask. If you want to know more about specific items on the platform, just let us know, and we'll dive through it. So today we're gonna be showcasing Xero as one of our partners, and we're gonna be integrating a new company in Entryless with them. So the basic premise of Entryless is that we have a lot of partners like Xero, and there's a seamless connection with them, a seamless API connection with them. So the goal of Entryless really is to automate the bill process and the bill payment and allow you to get that information on time into your accounting system. That's the whole goal of what we're going to show you today as far as the product. And the main area in here we like to say that, Entryless, the name comes from data entry, right? So that's why it's Entryless. But it's really, it's not only about how you get the data in, but also how you consolidate all the bills from the suppliers. If you're an accountant or a bookkeeper, how do you get all those paperwork from your clients? How are they sending those? So there are multiple flows that we solve in Entryless that you can really take an advantage. So we'll get started over here, and we'll synchronize an account from scratch. So right after you go into Entryless.com and create a new account, you can simply go into select an accounting package. If you're a new account, you'll get a cool onboarding process where you can select, we'll ask you a couple questions, and it's going to be, a hand-by-hand onboarding, and then you can select the accounting system. So I'm going to go ahead and select Xero. And once I select Xero, it's going to take me directly into the Xero website. And this is the case for any of the other partners that you see on the screen, like QuickBooks Online, like QuickBooks Desktop, like Sage 1, Sage Live. And if you see now, we are on the Xero environment over here at the top. And in here, you can simply give access to Entryless. I already signed in into my Xero account. If you see in this other tab, I'm already in. And because I am already in, now Xero, the only thing that it asks me is which company you want to authorize, which company you want to synchronize. Now, the beauty of Entryless and Xero and the other partners is that you can have, let's say, 20 companies in Entryless, and then you can have 20 companies in any of the other platforms, and then get them synchronized independently. That's why you see that I get to pick here which company do I wish to synchronize. So I'm going to go ahead and select demo company and just give allow access. Allow access is essentially enabling Entryless to get all the pertinent data for you to start working with Entryless. So in a nutshell, right now on the background on our Amazon Web Services servers, we're getting all your data from your accounting system, like chart of accounts, like supplier lists, like tax settings. So if I go now over here to the top right, company settings, and then I go into accounting, now I see here all the data that Entryless got from your accounting package. So we get all the chart of accounts, we get all the tax rates that you have, and we also import all the logic around those tax rates so that there are, less errors or not errors at all when you select a chart of account. And then also we have tracking categories for Xero. We have QuickBooks classes for QuickBooks users, and for Sage Live we have products as well, and we have other dimensions. Now, if I go here over suppliers, of course we have all the list of suppliers. All right, now let's jump right at the demo. So there are 4 ways to really getting the bills in Entryless, and this is where we cut down a lot of steps. Into helping you manage effectively your cash flow. Essentially, we have the bill has to be either in PDF, JPG, PNG, and have that already as an electronic format where we have those bills already electronically. So they can be either on your email, they can be either on your on your desktop as a scanned item, or it can be a picture that you take and that you can submit to Entryless. So the first one is the cloud storage. So this is a super cool feature that we just launched around 2 months ago for our premium accounts. And this gives you the ability to synchronize with Box, synchronize with Dropbox or Google Drive, set up a folder there, and then once you set up that folder there, Entryless is going to pick up any item that you have in there. And then it will pick up any item as it becomes available. So this is super helpful if you're running a practice, because you can essentially set up a folder in any of these systems for your clients and then just tell your client and say, hey, don't send me the paperwork directly to me anymore. Just cut to this folder, invite them to that folder, and let them drag and drop anything that is around bills and expenses and purchases into that folder. Entryless is going to pick that up automatically. And this really cuts down a process, for you internally, and even you can set this up for your own business, and have employees drop the expenses and company expenses. So these 3 systems are super useful. and it's an easy way to get bills in Entryless. The other way is, of course, mobile app like Android and iOS, which you can download directly from the app stores. And then the third one is the drag and drop. So this is, on a web base, you can just simply drag and drop the files that you already have here. So in this case, I have here some bills that I'm going to go ahead and submit. So I'm going to go ahead and submit just a bunch of them. And you'll see how Entryless will start processing them automatically. It looks like I have more bills over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop them. So if you see, this list is getting shorter because the processing is automated and it's running right now. So I probably estimated about 12. We only have around 5 pending. So this is another way of getting the bills in Entryless. And then the fourth and last one is also a very useful one where you can set up an email address for your company, for each client, and then you can have any supplier or any employee direct the expenses there. You can even forward the expenses there as well if you're receiving them from your email. Even if it's, let's say, just an HTML email or just a bill that comes inside that particular email, we're going to transform that into an actual PDF that will later on get synchronized into those accounting systems as a source document. So we really cut down the processes, and it's really helpful. So in this case, I'm going to add, or let's say Dunkin' Donuts. We're just getting a bunch of Dunkin' Donuts to use Entryless this week. So I'm just put Dunkin' Donuts, let's say San Francisco, then we're going to click claim. And now any email that gets into this address is going to get processed. Now, if it's a marketing email, or if it's really a email that it's not a bill, it will get rejected and it will get sent back to the owner of the account, notifying that, hey, you received this, which is not really a bill. Please take a look. All right, so now that I submitted those bills, this is where the magic happens on Entryless. So till now, what we've done so far is we've seen how to get the bills in Entryless, how to set up an account in Entryless with your cloud accounting systems like Xero, like QuickBooks, like Sage, and now it's really about approving those bills and reviewing them. So I'm going to go ahead and go into accounts payable and click approve bills. And once you have your account fully set up, this is really the only screen, or one of the only screens that you're going to get to to really interact with Entryless, because once you set up everything, you'll see the bills over here as a list, or you can do a side by side. So if you see, we have here a couple, bunch of bills. Since this is a new account, I need to train Entryless where you want the expenses. So I can train Entryless to say, hey, Newman Petroleum, it's let's say freight and courier. So I can select that account and it's going to get automatically tagged. Tracking category, it's the same. I'll say, hey, it's north expense, and it's going to get selected. And then you can say, hey, this is south, or let's say, hey, this is west coast. So you have that granular ability to select each individual item. You can also open the PDF and see the actual file that was submitted. So it just depends on how you really want to implement Entryless to better manage your cash flow and really get the a better enable the business to have better strategic decisions. And once we go over here, we can approve it directly from the the drag and drop. So I'm just going to go ahead and select all review and approve and sync. And now the bill has flown directly into Xero. If you see, we confirm that you have active connection. Sometimes connections could be lost, so you'll simply need to re-enable access, and it's pretty simple. Now I'm going to go ahead and now in the meantime, please feel free to submit any type of bills, any type of questions right now, and I'm sure I'll be able to address. So I see here already a couple of questions, and I'll go ahead and read one here. So does Entryless recognize and record the recurring bills, ones that are received and approved manually? So the way that Entryless works is, as you've seen, by ingesting the data, right? Receiving the bills. If it's a recurring bill, we will just treat it as a new bill, and then you need to submit it again. So there's no way for us to, let's say, set up a template and have that as a recurring invoice, let's say every first of the month. That's an ability that you already have on your accounting package in any of our partners. So you can totally set up that over there. And then if you're interested in using Entryless for payments, we bring that invoice, we bring that bill that you created in the accounting system, and we'll show it under the payments menu here on the left, which I'll cover, in a couple minutes. But the main essence is that you can set that template in your accounting system, and then Entryless is going to bring it over anyways. So that's an ability that you have, because the key area of Entryless is really submitting the bills that that you have here that needs to get automated, and then simply get them inside Entryless. Now there are a couple of other questions that I will address in 1 second. So I'm going to go ahead and select this Puma Energy bill, and I'm going to go ahead and select the for the side-by-side review. And before I dive there, I want to make a quick note for folks that are outside the US that are joining us today from the UK and other parts of the world. We have the tax ability in Entryless, so we do break down the invoice by VAT or GST or HST, depending the area that you are in, and we'll capture that separately. And I'll show it right now in 1 second. But we do have that ability. So I'm going to go ahead and select, I just want to select this one instead of doing the whole batch of bills, going one by one. And I just want to individually select this one, Puma Energy. So what this is going to enable for me is to see the bill on the left side, and then see on the right side, the expenses and the things that Entryless capture for you. You can synchronize as an invoice. Depending your accounting system, we can also synchronize as a, just as a cash expense or as a travel expense. So you will see here different options depending your accounting system. The default is that they flow as a purchase invoice, as a supplier bill. So you can change that on your account. Once there's an upgrade and it's a premium feature, you will see other options over here. So for this case, I'm just going to go ahead and select, let's say, advertising region. I'll say this is North, and then I'm going to go ahead and approve. You can put notes, and I'm going to say live demo, and then you can also, just approve it from here. You can add more lines if you like. You can make a breakdown. There are a couple of very nice features that are coming where there's going to be a line-by-line item, and also there's going to be rules where you can set up and say, hey, I want half of this bill to go to this chart of account, and I want half of this bill to go to this other chart of account. So totally there's more automation around it that we're working on and that we will enable. So I'm going to go ahead and just say demo here on the bill number so we can track that down in zero. And I'm going to hit approve. So once I hit approve, the synchronization starts, and then you'll get an email with a summary of the synchronized bills. Please allow a couple minutes to see the bills in zero. If you're synchronizing more than 50, it just takes a couple seconds, so it takes probably one bill per second. So just be on the lookout for that. And now we fully automated bill, and it has flown directly into zero. So now if I go here to zero, I'm going to be able to go into accounts. I'm going to go to purchases, which is the default. And in zero, we synchronize them as a draft. So I'm going to click here, draft. And then let's search for that particular invoice. So if you see, it's over here, right? The one that I just synchronized. So if you saw that it was super fast, but sometimes, it could take around 5 minutes. So now we have here the actual bill. If you saw, I wrote live demo. On the reference, I also wrote demo. So this is the bill that I just synchronized. And if you see, everything has flown directly into zero. We also upload and attach the actual original file that was submitted into zero, into QuickBooks, and into the other accounting systems like Sage, and then you get to keep your data. All right, I'm going to switch back over here, and I'm going to see if there's any other questions. There's one question. Do we plan to add ShareFile as a storage platform? Yes, totally. That's one that is on our roadmap. Let's see, how do we do for supplier invoices? So this is the actual supplier invoice. So you can submit bills, you can submit receipts, you can submit expenses, you can submit handwritten notes of any purchase that you do. So anything that is an expense, Entryless can handle that. All right, any way to have multi-line invoices coded to different expense account? Totally. So that's something that, you know, it's totally doable, which I just explained, but let's do one thing. I'm going to go ahead and select tax settings, and I'm going to click tax. So this is for non-US companies that do like to track tax. So if I go now over accounts payable into approved bills, you're going to see that now we have a tax column and a tax amount, tax value. So now we have all the tax rates that we import, and you can also do a side-by-side review. I'll go ahead and select this one. It's going to tell me that this invoice probably it's already there. So if you submit invoices that are repeated, Entryless will detect that based on the bill number by supplier. So you don't do duplications. But for this case, what I want to do is I want to add some lines, and I'm going to show you. So we have here the tax rates. So you see here the difference, right? That we are able to do the breakdown of the invoice. So this is super useful. All right. How do we delete unwanted invoices? So unwanted invoices, it's pretty simple. Let's suppose, you know, this is a repeated bill. So we totally should not go into the accounting system. So as a subledger, you know, that Entryless is, you can simply click reject. You can send it back to someone, to the supplier, or just to whoever is sending it, and just say, hey, don't send, just reject. And then you've rejected the actual transaction. You can do bulk rejection as well. And the bulk rejection, you can simply select, you know, do a bulk. Let's suppose that you uploaded a bunch of files that are not correct. And then you can simply just click reject. And that's it, you're done. They won't show up anywhere. All right, credit notes. Great question. So the question is, are we able to capture credit notes? Totally. So we capture credit notes, and you're going to see them in Entryless as a regular invoice, except you will see a minus here on the amount. And then we'll synchronize it into your accounting system as a credit note document or object. So that's something that, you know, it totally works in here in Entryless. I'm going to do a side-by-side of this selected bill, and I'm going to, let's suppose that it's a note. So I'm going to hit minus over here. And I'm going to synchronize it into 0, so you can see how that goes. But that's the the essential premise on how the credit notes work, and we do that for you. So you don't need to put the minus. We identify if it's a credit note or not, and then go from there. All right, so we'll wait here for a couple seconds. All right. In the meantime, I think I have here one more question. Is it possible to scan into Sage Live 50 desktop version? So Sage 50, we're working on it. Right now, we only have Sage 1 and Sage Live. So totally, please, Bobby will follow up with you, and we'll explain you more around it. All right, we have more questions here. Is there a way to handle two-level approval? So right now we have, as you see, we have the approval level. We only have one approval level. And before I go there, I'm going to click here. So this is the note that that we just sent. So if you see, it goes as a credit note. You know, demo. Click here, demo. So everything is in here. Perfect. So I'll go back, and I'm going to go ahead and explain the approval process. So approval processes, you can go into company settings, and you can go into CPA settings and set up sub-users. You can add more users, so I can say, hey, Bobby, let's approve some bills in Entryless. I'm going to add him as let's say, we have different roles. So we have CPA junior, we have admin, we have approver, and we have owner. We take very seriously the payments part in Entryless, so we have a dedicated seat for payments, so that those are the only seats that are have actually the access to approve a payment. But essentially, the multi-approval, that's something that's coming, and right now, once a bill gets approved by approving the bill as I just showed it, it's approved, it's done. Payments, once you approve a payment, it's also the approval is on. But that's something that's coming pretty soon. All right, I'll go ahead and address more questions, and I'll go ahead and showcase the payments feature in Entryless. Now, for currencies, if you see, this is a US company, so totally costs us a US dollar. But if you are in UK, it costs us pounds, and you'll see the right currency. Or if you're in Australia, you'll see the right currency as well. Now I'll go ahead and go into payments. So payments is one of the coolest part of Entryless, because Entryless, it's about automating the flow, automating the process. So if you see now, we have over here the bills that I approve right here at the demo, and so what we're going to do now is explain more about how payments work. So Entryless is connected directly into the US financial system, and therefore we're able to submit directions on to who we should credit, to who we need to debit, and we take the very seriously the way of getting the payments done, and we do it's a multi-layer verification process so that we can identify that you're the right account owner of that account, and then afterwards you're able to submit the bills in Entryless. You can click here add bank account, or you can also go here into bank accounts and add it. So you'll see here, welcome to Entryless payments. We run the same PCI compliance that are required for credit cards, but we run it for the bank process here in Entryless. Although it's not bound to the same regulations, but we apply the same rules, because it's our bread and butter for us, the payments. So it's critical that we provide the correct security. So you can simply click add bank account, and then you can add just add your bank account name, routing number, account class, checking or savings, business type, business or personal, and then you can add a nickname. So you can say Wells Fargo Bank, for example, and then you can just click next. There's one option coming in about 2 weeks, where you will be able to log in directly to your bank account from Entryless, and you receive also the security verification process that you usually have on your bank. So without further ado, right now this is the last part of the demo and of the live training program in how to manage your cash flow. I'm going to go ahead and select payment mode. So once you have already added your bank account and it has been verified, you will be able to pay your suppliers either by check or either by ACH. So right now this is an unverified account, so we don't have here all the payment options, but you can totally say, hey, mail check now, or mark paid outside of Entryless. If you mark paid outside of Entryless, what that's going to do is just mark that as a payment, and it will go into the tab paid. Let's say that it was a credit card expense, has already been paid. You can just come here and pay it outside of Entryless if you want to do a quick reconciliation over here. And if not, you'll see the payment. So you can click mail check now. So what that will do is trigger a payment to that supplier. We're going to ask you to confirm the actual address of that supplier, and we will print and mail that check for you. Now, right now we have free 30 checks per month at no cost. Usually it's $1.49 per check. And right now on any premium account, it's coming at free for up to 30 payments. So now I'm going to quickly address here one question. So the address is, do you reconcile the payment in the accounting system? The quick answer is yes. We reconcile the actual payment, and we synchronize that as an actual payment in your accounting system. So if you're on QuickBooks, it gets created as a check. If you're on Xero, it also gets created as a payment object. So that's something that comes very, very handy, because now you will spend less time doing a bank reconciliation. Now, there's also here another question. The question is, can you schedule payments? So the short answer is as well, yes. Once you click Mail Check Now or Pay by Check by ACH, there's a calendar that is going to pop up, and you can select the payment date that you want that to go out. Now, one of the key differences of Entryless versus any other bill pay platform is, of course, the automation that you just saw, right? You get up to 300 bills per company every single month. They get automated in less than 1 hour if you're on our premium account. And you really don't need to type those bills. And they get synchronized into your accounting system alongside the actual PDF that got sent. And one of the key differences as well in Entryless is how we move the funds. So we essentially don't touch the funds. We do not touch the funds of your customer, of your client, or of your company. That's something that other companies do. And because of that, we are able to first move the money faster between accounts. And second, also there we can do reconciliation by each line, by each payment. Instead of having a big payment of, let's say, 10 suppliers to just one bill pay company, and then having to do a breakdown in your accounting system of those 10 payments, you know, in the accounting system. So that's one flexibility that we have. And for us, our business model is on the subscription side. It's you know, on the premium accounts, and it's not really on making a float with the money that you're paying your suppliers, right? Like today webinar is cash flow, right? How to manage your cash flow. We help you manage your cash flow, and because of that, we make it easier to move the funds between suppliers and buyers. And also because of that, our business model is not around making a buck or two from the money that, you know, that it gets created on the float. So those are one of the key differences. And of course, it's a very, you know, consolidated platform. You have Dropbox and Box and Google Drive and many others. So I'm going to pick two different questions, and we'll do a wrap up with Bobby. And so the other question is, do you plan to offer credit card as a payment method? So yes, payment method for supplier, totally. That's something that it's in the works right now, and we will be able to you know, showcase that in the pertinent time. And of course, that's for sending a payment from the client to the supplier. You can of course upgrade Entryless, upgrade your account, and that's done through a credit card. All right, so thanks, Patrick, for that question. All right, so the other question here that we have, how does the manual sync work? The manual sync works by going into, that's a great question. So we have here on the left menu, Cloud Sync. So Cloud Sync, what it does is that you can import your accounting data anytime, and you can also export any pending bill here anytime. So for example, let's suppose that you added a new chart of account, or you added a new tax rate. We have a schedule of how we synchronize new data from those accounting systems, but you can force a synchronization. Let's say that you have a recurring bill in Xero that you want to pay via Entryless. Fine, you can just come here and say update Xero account data, and we will bring any new account data there. Entryless by default does not allow you to create any of your chart of accounts, any of your tax rates, tracking categories, classes, or product lines. We do that by default because we don't want to create an accounting problem or an accounting mess by providing that flexibility. Instead, we have, for us, the source system is the accounting system. So we essentially replicate, the essential data that you have over here. So you need to add, let's say, a chart of account directly here from your Xero account. For example, I can add, let's say an expense, and let's say it's 5,000. Say I'll save it, and then you can go back to Entryless and just force another update. And once it finishes updating, you're gonna see it over here. Of course, it's not here yet because you have here this top message. But once it's done, the chart of account is going to be there. All right, we'll take the last question over here. Let me scroll down. Oh yes, that's a great question. So why do you offer 300 builds for free? So it looks like it's like the $1,000,000 question, right, Bobby? So essentially, Entryless is a very consolidated platform, and because of that, it's not only about one feature, right? For us, it's about how we enable you to be successful by managing your entire AP flow, not just how you enter the data, right? Or not just how you pay your suppliers, but really about a consolidated solution and end-to-end technology that allows you to, follow the full life cycle of the bill. So because of that, we like people to try our software. We like people to go into Entryless, sign up, and really see what it is, really see what's the experience of automating your bills. For our customers, it's life-changing. There's a company called SwipeSense in Chicago, Amy. It's the one that is leading the Entryless program over there. And for her, she's saving now her, work time by 4 hours a week. And I think that's transformative. So we want users, we want companies across the globe to really have that experience, because really we're changing the ways that you do things. It's not about changing how bills are named or come up with a new bill type, but it's really about how you manage that and how you reduce the time around that. So we give that for free so you can test the system, and then of course our premium plans are aimed at providing faster processing time. So yes, we give those 300 bills for free, but it's going to take up to 5 days, after you finish the trial period. And for premium accounts, we guarantee that any amount of bills for any amount of companies is going to take less than 12 hours. And it's usually less than 1 hour or almost immediate, for the case that you saw this morning. And that's why we give those, those bills for free. And then you have also the payments feature where you can also pay your suppliers, and that comes at the premium plan. So with that, Bobby, I'll hand it over to you. There are a lot of questions, so thanks for being very active on this session. We're going to go ahead and read any pending question that we see over here, and we'll totally address those questions directly. Bobby's going to address that. So with that, thank you, Bobby. I'll hand it over to you. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy your Friday. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you, everyone. I am aware that there's a few questions that has not been answered. I'll make sure to reply to everyone, answer all these questions. We want to improve this webinars in the future as we go. So we would like to send you a survey just to give us your opinion and just let us know what do you think about this webinar and what we need to work on or improve on, please. Thank you, guys. We'll reach out to everyone as we see what your plans and what you're trying to do with your accounting firm and how we can help you specifically with your business. Thank you, guys. Happy Friday and have a good weekend.